Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new year, 2026, and the Thursday live stream. So we got a lot of things to go over, so let's just jump right into it. So first of all, today is the 8th day of the 12 days of Christmas. Have we given away a lot of different things? And first day, give a bunch of Solana away. Then we get TANGEM wallets. Ivan on Tech was here. Wes from Smart Money Crypto or Trading, and they gave away some lifetime stuff. Kraken, Coin Ledger, and of course yesterday we gave away a lifetime subscription to Ben's Into the Cryptoverse. So congratulations to the lucky winners of all of those. But today we're going to be giving away 3 annual memberships to the Coin Bureau Club. And I got to tell you, like, this is something I use every so often because Guy and the team over there, Guy, Nick, and Dan and everybody over there at Coin Bureau, they give you a good amount of information. There's a lot of stuff that they put behind on their club site. And they go over like the newest types of things. I know people will say, well, all coins are dead. Well, you know what? All coins die every year. And it seems like they keep coming back at some point. So we'll see. But you got everything from the overview. And then they just did a nice little review of Aether. I just wanted to point it out. That's a pretty good one. Zcash, Monad, Canton, which did some pretty good plays. I think they broke in the top 100. Well, Zcash has been around for a while. But you got your research feed, which will give you like forecasts and things like that. All the altcoin reviews you can possibly think of. And this is pretty good. The team portfolios. If you like to figure out like what does a Guy hold on to and what is Nick? Well, there you are right there. But behind this, it'll tell you exactly how much they hold. Well, not exactly, I mean percentages. And then there's a heck of a lot more than that. And of course, they also have exclusive deals. So for this, for people to win, we're going to draw the winner right here. We're going to do something differently. I linked in the description a Google form, and all you got to do is go there, click on that, give me your email, and we're going to come over here and I'm going to draw one of the emails. I'm not going to show everybody's email because I think that's irresponsible. So I'm going to just pick an email. I'm going to give the first part of it, and that'll be the winner for today's Coin Bureau Club 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. So again, the link's in the description at the very top. Fill out that form. I just want your email so I can actually contact you, give you the username and password, and we'll go from there. So today, everything's reset today. Now, on this channel, I've talked about a lot about the 4-year cycles, and there are parts of it that are still intact. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true, and we're going to go over that. But there are some subtle differences and big differences about what makes this differently. And we're transitioning, and we're into this new reset. And we did this video about a couple months ago, maybe about 6 weeks ago, where we just talked about the cycle differences. And they were obvious. Everybody knows these different differences. But the thing that I was concerned about was price action. I know people will say, well, you know, there was a price action for halving and all-time highs, and there was a lot more volume and everything else. Like, that's great. But what I really care about is like, what were we going to get all-time highs in Q4 of the post-halving year? And guess what? We did. So from all-time high to all-time high as far as days, it was roughly about the same. 2013 to 2017, you had Bitcoin go from 1,242 to around 20,000. It took 1,477 days. The next one from 2017 to 2021, it went from 20,000 to 67,000, and it took about 1,424 days. So okay, about a month and a half long, shorter, great. And then this one, and this is true, the high for Q4 of the post-halving year was October 6, 2025, at roughly 126,000. And from 67,000 2021 to 2025, it was 1,428 days. So it lines up perfectly. 1,477 days, 1,424, 1,428. And that's just a fact. And then from the all-time low to the all-time high, it was even more eerie. You had the low of 2015 of 172 bucks. And then you went to December 15th, 2018, 1,068. And then you went from 2018 to 2018 to 2022, you had 1,060 days. Then you went from 1,062, or sorry, November 9th, 2022 to October 9th, 2025, which is the legit thing, 1,062 days. So again, this whole time frame, it's pretty much lining up. Now, if that's the case, then does this mean that we're going to have to wait for a year? It's anybody's guess, quite honestly. Could we go from October 6th, take another year to October 6th, 50,000? Not for sure. I think there's going to be some subtle differences, but today everything changes. And it's because of the 4-year cycle is broke at this point. Yes, we topped out. Maybe this is the last 4-year cycle. Now maybe everything just turns into a little bit something differently. And we can see that the fourth year is always a negative, and the first 3 are always positive. So again, you can take a look here, very basic. Last cycle, 2015, 16, oh, excuse me, 2019, 2020, 21. You had 94 through it and 57%. And 2022, that year after the blow off top, we had a very red year at negative 65%. And usually the third year is always green. 2025 was not. We finished out at around 87,000. That's down 6%. So if we're looking at the 4-year cycle, that's what it is. Now, me personally, I believe everything starts with the halving. And if it follows up with the halving, and then we have an all-time high, which we did. 2024 was the halving, April 20th, 2024. All-time high the next year, October 6th, 2025. Then we go through a dip, or a massive dip, which is like the worst year. That's 2026. And then we go for a reset, 2027, and 2028, a halving. Now, there are some subtle differences of this one, obviously. Usually, we'll have a halving, and we'll have an all-time high. And it's a funny thing because for the halving for this one, April 20th, kind of hard to forget, 420, we're at 64,000. And we don't usually get an all-time high, but we did in March at 73,000. So right there, it told you things were going to be differently. But it all changed right around here. January 10th, January 11th, somewhere around there. That's when we got these ETFs. And you're going to see that we had a little bit of a plummet, roughly about 10, 15% or so, from January 11th down to January 23rd. And then it just took off like crazy. And the ETF hysteria was alive and well. And everything did pretty great. And we had a nice little run up. And of course, here we go until October 6th. And it was great to the very tippy point of roughly 125,000, somewhere around there. But the thing that was different, and we talked about this a couple of days ago, different addresses and wallet addresses. You're going to see that this is from Bitcoin Magazine Pro. We're going up. These are the amount of wallets that have been created in this yellow line here. And in black is the Bitcoin price. And as time has gone on, we've seen just a big, huge run up. Well, for the most part here, 2013 or so, and then you had a little bit of drop off. You had a big run up here of 2017 and 2018. And then people started to sell off, and there was no valuations in those wallets as they sold everything off. But then it just kept going up. 2021, the same thing. Then a little bit of a drop down. And then we just kept going up. But somewhere around here, January 2024, is when things just went flat as far as wallet creation. Even though we were seeing all-time highs from 73,000, 85, 105, 125,000, the amount of Bitcoin wallets that held just a little bit, 0.01, flatline, right around January. And I forgot to mention this, that of course, the reason is because of all the different ETFs that were happening. Or excuse me, the spot Bitcoin ETFs, the BlackRocks, the Fidelities, the ARK investments. So everything just flatlined. Flatlined because people didn't want to create their own wallets. They wanted someone else to take the risk. And that's why you see this. This is up to 1 Bitcoin. You have also 10 Bitcoin, flatlined. A little bit different here for 100 Bitcoin. It seems like the people that were OGs and still wanted to accumulate did so. Address was 1,000 Bitcoin. They've been flatlined for quite some time. And then the 10,000 Bitcoin, like we talked about a couple of days ago, it's an interesting thing how they bottomed out at around October 3rd to 9th, and they started to reaccumulate. So wallets, as far as the ETFs, that is different because people didn't want to deal with the security issues. Now, unfortunately, with the ETF today, yesterday was pretty great. We saw that there was a nice fat inflow of 355 million. And then, of course, or excuse me, that was 2 days ago. And then 31st of December, or yesterday, New Year's Eve, we had a whopping 348 million sell-off. So there's the good times, there's the bad times. Ethereum, same thing. We had nothing but red days for the most part. And then 30th of December, 2 days ago, we had a nice run up, and individuals, institutions, whoever were buying. And unfortunately, yesterday, they had a sell-off of 72 million. So all that just gets wiped away. And the question then is, well, why would people trust ETFs? Because, you know, I mean, this is one of the things, this is one of the ethos, if it's not your keys, not your crypto, right? Well, I can just put it on a TANGEM wallet, or I can put it on a ledger, and I can hold my seed phrases on this little piece of paper, or I can engrave it into this steel or wherever, and I can travel with it everywhere I want to go. I can keep it on myself, or I can put it in the bank in like a safety security deposit box, because that'll be fine. Well, here's a couple of things. First of all, I've known people that have had their seed phrases discovered and they got wiped out of their entire life savings. And people will say, well, that's ridiculous. How would that happen? Well, you have a lot of vectors of attack. You've got people that maybe don't like you. You've got family members that don't like you. You've got people that you are in business with, or maybe people that come to your house and do renovations and do cleaning or whatever else, know everything about you and your house, and it only takes one time and that's gone. And then, of course, people say, well, I'll just put it in a safety deposit box. You can do that, but this just happened yesterday. Sophisticated bank heist took place in Germany over the Christmas holidays. $35 million were stolen from 3,000 safety deposit boxes after unknown men drilled a hole from an adjacent underground parking garage into the vault of the bank. Got into all the safety deposit box, cleaned it out, left. So if you were leaving it there, which I understand this is a kind of a rare case, but it could happen. So this is the reason why people are like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I'm just going to put an ETF and be gone. And that's it. And I think that's a pretty good idea. Me personally, you can do something like that. I, myself, use multiple ledgers, multiple tangems. They're scattered about the world. I also have, I use premium custody service with iTRUST. It's the same one that BlackRock and Strategy use to custody their Bitcoin itself. So if I get wiped out on like someone's, I don't know how the hell they do this, they would find like, you know, 5 of the ledgers that I have hidden, or they find 7 of the tangems that I have all around. They're going to have to go through and go through custody, which I'm going to tell you right now is not going to happen for iTRUST. So it's just one of those things. This is why I diversify my portfolio. I diversify my security and go from there. So that's a little bit different as far as like the ETFs. And then, of course, the thing that also was different, which is what we were all looking for, was these indicators. None of these popped off. None of them. And you're going to see this is from, we talked about this many times on coinglass.com. You can see like the pi cycle top didn't even get within 50% of where it's supposed to be. 12 multiple days of ETF net outflows, ETF to Bitcoin, MVRV score, the biggest letdown, quite honestly. And then on and on and on. The only ones that came close was this, there was one called a Bitcoin long-term holder supply, Bitcoin short-term. And when the Bitcoin long-term holder supply, when it's more than 13.5 million, or excuse me, less than or equal to 13.5 million, that is a bullish sign, meaning this is it right here, Bitcoin long-term holder supply. When holders are, and you can see here, as far as in green, long-term holder supply back in 2017 was only 8.8 million, and they classify a long-term holder as 6 months or more. If they're holding a lot longer, or they have more wallets that are holding, that's bullish, because that's what long-term holders do, and then they dump it as the price goes up. And this one, it was very close. It was 14.1 million Bitcoin, but if it got below 13.5, they would say that was a very bullish indicator. That didn't happen. And it's the inverse for, of course, short-term holders. And you're going to see that it's kind of like one and the other. So one goes here, you zip down the top. That would be the short-term holders are 6 months or less. So all these things, definitely different. 2026 is already starting out different. That's just the truth. We can't deny that. So what's going to happen? I think there's going to be a reset. I think there's going to be, maybe 2026 is going to be a pretty good year, like some people say. Maybe. I think that there's going to be a lot of political unrest, especially because it's a midterm year. And as we know, midterm years are the worst, some of the worst years for the markets, not the absolute worst, but historically speaking, pretty bad. And we're going to see the Republicans lose the House, the Democrats, and that's going to cause a lot of issues. And then once that rolls into 2027, there'll be more unrest when Trump probably has articles of impeachment brought forth by those Democrats. And I'm not, this isn't a political channel, I'm just saying it's probably what's going to happen. And that's going to be a real problem for the markets moving into it. So we'll see how it is. However, there's one thing that has not changed, and that is, unfortunately, diminishing returns. This is the Bitcoin ROI after the halving, and I'm going to go through the different cycles. So the return on investment after a halving is actually not the greatest, quite honestly. You want to do this when it's at the very bottom, obviously, right? And halvings, like we just saw in, April 20, 2024, it was roughly, what, 70,000. So the ROI is not the greatest. You would like to go to the low of 2022 when it was $15,778, whatever it was. But we can see here that as far as diminishing returns, here's 2012, the first halving, to the ROI, it was a 92x. That's pretty nice in 2013, when you went from a price of nothing, essentially, all the way up to $1,000. That's good. Having two, when you had it on 2016, July 9th, 2016, all the way up to 2017, you had a 30x. Still pretty good, but you can see it's not 100x, it's only a 30x. Having cycle 3, even worse. And we started that on May 12th, 2020, and we had a 7x. And the halving cycle 4, this is not good. We went from, April 23rd, I stand corrected. That was April 20th. You had a whopping 1.92x. Could be worse. But you can see diminishing returns. But you say, Rob, that doesn't matter because I buy when everything's the lowest. All right. So here's the bottom, the market cycle bottom return investment. Even better. 2010 to 2013, you're looking at a 574x. It's pretty good. That's when you want to be here. But very few people understood it back then. But how about this one? ROI from 2011 to 2013, 502x. That's pretty great. I mean, it's not 700x or whatever it was, 574, but I'll take it. How about market cycle 3? Now we only got 110x from, what is this, 2015 to 2017? Only a measly 110x. Not too bad. Market cycle 4, you went from 2018 when it was like 3,000 bucks, maybe about 3,000, I believe. And then you come over here to 2021, November 8th, and you got a clean 20x. Still pretty good. And market cycle 5, like we just talked about, if you went from the halving to the top, you've only got a 1.9x. But if you did it from the bottom in 2022 to October 6, 2025, you're up 8x. Unfortunately, that is not a 20x, that is not a 65x, not a 75 or a 502 or a 517. All I can tell you is that I think the monstrous gains are gone. I don't think you're going to see 20, 30, 40 X's unless this could be like the last cycle to really do some pretty good return investments as things go lower. But I could be wrong. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Every top line is time sensitive. And lastly, I did forget this. A little words of wisdom, because that was kind of a very somber video. I apologize. But thankfully for you and me too, Simon Dixon. Remember when I talked about 2013? I think when in 2013, probably Simon Dixon probably thought he was late to the party. But here he is 14 years ago, speaking at the first Bitcoin conference in Prague. Bitcoin had crashed from, imagine this, $30 to $3. Do you know how stupid some people would have felt at that point? Not everybody. I mean, some people were like, I know what it is, it's awesome. But you got to imagine most of them are like, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have done this. $30 to $3. It was us versus the banks, my talk disrupting banking. But he did say it was none of us cared. I doubt that. I think some people did care. And he gave a great price prediction, or excuse me, he gave a great prediction. I despise price predictions. I think they're absolutely worthless. I think the people that spout them off are just wasting everybody's time. But this was the one prediction I can get behind. And he says this: ignore the price. Focus on owning more Bitcoin this month than you did last month. If the price goes down, celebrate. You get to buy more Bitcoin with fiat. This is all for 2026. If the price is up by the end of 2026, which I predicted will be, recognize what that likely means. The 4-year cycle has been broken and the market is under a new phase. There will only be 21 million Bitcoin. And this is the crux of it. This is the most important part. And I need to remember this and you need to remember this. The financial industrial complex will do everything it can to custody as much of that fixed supply as possible. Your job is to resist their temptations to borrow against it, hold it in a treasury company, or chase yield only to be margin called so they can capture your Bitcoin gains. And I have to tell you, I hold that to be true. I'm not going to be a person to chase a yield. I'm not going to be a person to get loans against it. I know people will talk about it's like the next great thing. I will never do that. And I just think that there's going to be people who are going to want to snatch this up because, unfortunately, like we just talked about, there's a diminishing return on investment. We see that institutions are here, and they don't play the game like us. They play this for years. Fortunately for you, I think we're in the right place at the right time. It's just going to take a little bit longer. And that's it for today. So thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Now, let's get to the membership giveaway. I'm sorry I can't show everybody's emails to you, but you have to trust me, bro, that I'm actually going to do this legitimately. I have no skin in the game. This isn't like I'm going to screw somebody over just because I want to dump a meme coin on here or something. Let's see. I need to write these down. Jay Tolson. Jay Tolson with some numbers. You're a winner. Hold on. Put this in. So if I forget, it'll be real hard to go back. Okay. Jay Tolson, you're a winner. And that's a good one. Finance and Matthias? Finance Matthias. See, I know you won't have your email revealed because I can't even pronounce it. That's one more. And then, let's see. Oh, this is a good one. M. Hollowaya. So those are the three winners. Jay Tolson, Finance Matthias, Matt something, and M. Hollowaya. And that's it for today. So let's get into a little Q&A and let's write questions. We'll go from there. What do we got? Let me make sure I get out of there. All right, perfect. Just a bunch of random numbers. There we go. All right. How do I get to win? Well, you're not going to win this one, my man. I'm sorry. But people complain because, like, I do a lot of things through X. It's just easier. Like, to like draw a winner for somebody here in YouTube, unless someone has another way to do this. I don't know. Because on Twitter or X, I can reach out to the person, follow them, send them a message. They can verify it's me, as far as like they can see who what the account is from. They can say, oh, this is News Asset, and they've got 200,000 subscribers or 200,000 followers on X. This is probably the right one, not News Asset 54 or Digital Asset News 75, and they've only got 4 followers. So it's very easy. But on YouTube, it's very difficult. And that's why I had to set up that, that Google form. This is a good one. Price prediction for Bitcoin in the year 2028. Bitcoin by 2028. Let me get this crystal ball out. Will be somewhere between, it's coming to me, $5 and $45 million. It'll be somewhere in that range. Lock it in. I know. It's amazing how I do that. And Happy New Year. Yeah, well, I know, right? $5 to $45 million. It could be anywhere. That's the great thing. Let's see. Cookie Monster, can we go above the 50 SMA? Can we get above the 100-week SMA? I think that's the bigger question. Look, I actually didn't really think too much about the moving averages until I was talking to Ivan on Tech. That was a good interview. I like that one. Anyhow, let's take a look here. Dun, 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 dun. If I'm not mistaken, so the 50-week moving average is way higher. You're talking about, yeah, 101,000. We're barely above the 100-week, I believe. Yeah. We're barely above the 100-week. The 100-week moving average is 85, 86, and we're at, what are we at today? 87,000, 88,000, 87, 88. So yeah, if we get above the 50-week, that's going to take a lot of time. But the big thing is that, you know what a great time to buy? It's not here. Actually, it's this 200-week moving average. That is a great time to buy. Look at this. Let me show you something. And you can tell I'm not a technical person, but I mean, it makes sense to me. 200-week moving average, there was very few time frames to buy. And if you did that on March 20th, I think that was it, you would have bought Bitcoin at 3,800 or below 200-week moving average in 2022. You would have bought it at 22,000, 22,800, 23,000, 23,200, 24,000, 18,000. This is ridiculous. 24 and 25. Who here wouldn't have liked to have bought Bitcoin at those prices? Just wait for it to go below the 200-week moving average. That's pretty much it. If you want to. Now, the problem with that is that you don't know how long you've got. You know, you saw that one for 2020, March 13th. You've only got so much time. So do you go in heavy at that point and go, okay, went below that 200-week moving average, everything goes in? So historically speaking, it's a pretty good time. However, what if it keeps going down even lower? Let's say it went down 2020, we're looking at 13. Was it 3,000? No, sorry, it's 5,000. Let's say it goes down to 2,500 or 2,000, which definitely could have. Then you're like, shoot, I should have waited a little bit. Maybe you value cost average instead of dollar cost average. That's a whole other video. But yeah, I mean, if you want to do it, me personally, right now the risk levels are almost at 0.399, which means I have to triple what I'm buying my Bitcoin daily. Right now I'm just doubling. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, 200-week moving averages for me. Sounds good. Future millionaire. So I got a decent amount of spot Bitcoin in self-custody. But in this next bear market, I plan on maxing out my Roth for 25, 26 on Fidelity and let them hold a small bag of Bitcoin. Yeah. Hey, just remember that for your Roth IRA, we're talking about United States, you have until April 14th, I believe. April 14th, April 15th, I think it's April 14th of next year to contribute to your Roth IRA for 2025. Little loophole. So definitely give that a thing. And who knows? Because it's a funny thing. Maybe like in April, we could see even worse price action of going down. Yeah, we'll see. Made up coin AI. We're One of my brilliant plans was to bring meme coins to Cardano, which I got to tell you, it was a pretty fun thing. So we created this thing called Tomato Coin back a long time ago. We minted on the Cardano blockchain as just a joke, and we gave it away to all of our stake pool participants for our Cardano stake pool. And then I opened it up, and we used a format to allow people to trade, and everybody just dumped my Tomato Coin on me. It's pretty funny. But yeah, it was good. I still have all my Tomato Coin. And it was just for people. Help people out. Let's see. Joseph, NFA live again soon. I think next week, New Year's Day is not a great time. Who knows how rip-roaring crazy Ben and Guy got last night for New Year's Eve. I'm just kidding. They probably didn't do much. But, well, maybe Guy. I don't know. But yeah, we'll probably be back next week, and we'll go from there. Learning Setter Coin. Beats5 says, would you ever buy altcoins again? Your 20 was bad. Yeah, I'm actively buying altcoins right now. Crazy, right? Yeah, I think this is one of the times. I know people say, well, altcoins bled all against Bitcoin for this whole cycle. That's not true. I mean, there has been some handful of ones that have done quite well. Take a look at Binance. You know what? Let's just do it right now. Let's just take a look at which ones made it, which ones didn't. If you're not signed up to Ben's website, this thing right here, this DCA strategies is free. So if you go to the website, link in the description, and you just want to play around with this, it's pretty fun. You get this. I think you get some moving averages and such. But if you want to sign up, you get 10% off with my discount. Just saying. So let's see. Let's do DCA equal amounts. So the question is the cycle. If the cycle was at the very lowest for Bitcoin, that means we're looking at what? November 6, 2022? Let's all agree that's like the low point. Maybe not the low point for all the altcoins. Let's say November 7th. But for Bitcoin, definitely. Let's say we put in $10 a day. Reasonable, right? And the ending date is, well, we'll look at it. Because December 30, 2025, we'll see which ones. Let's compare. Ethereum's not going to be it. I can guarantee you Ethereum didn't make it. BNB, XRP, Solana, Tron, Doge, Cardano, Zcash, Link, Monero, Hyperliquid, Sui, Avalanche. Toncoin sucks. I got a big bag of that. Totally worthless. So far. We'll see. And that's Pepe. Why not? Okay. So we have these in there. Which ones perform better than Bitcoin? Well, a few. So again, we're buying $10 a day of everything, of Bitcoin, Zcash, Chainlink, Cardano, XRP, all this nonsense, right? And we're pretty much underneath the water for everything. Although on October 14th, 2022, we're up, so that's pretty nice. Hold on, what the hell? January 7th. That's not what I wanted. But, okay. November 7th, 2022. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. Now, how are we doing? So let's see. We're coming along here doing okay. Right here, there are a few that have beaten Bitcoin so far, but you're taking a lot more risk. However, Solana's crushing it, right? And this is on January 7th. That's 2 years later, roughly. No, it's not. Right around here. Let's just pick this point. August 20th. Solana's up 365%. Pepe's up 308%. Tron, one of my favorites, 90%. Bitcoin, 84%. Still doing pretty good. BNB is trailing, Zcash, all this stuff. Let's go over here. Now we are on December 9th, 2024. Let's just go to 2020. 5. All right. So here's January. Pepe's beating everything, 830%. And here's the thing. People say, well, it's not doing that today. That's why you take profits along the way. Like, who tells you to diamond hands Pepe, for Pete's sakes? Solana, XRP, SWI, Doge, Tron, they're all beating Bitcoin. Bitcoin on January 6, 2025 is up 187%. Still great, but some altcoins do outperform. Now, moving forward, how are we doing here? Bitcoin's still number 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. October 3rd, 2025. Solana's up 400%. XRP is up 358. Zcash, Pepe, Tron, BNB. Bitcoin's at 187, SWI 162. And then, of course, the albatross that is Zcash comes out of nowhere because everybody's pumping it. I'm just bitter because I don't have any. That's probably what it is. But congratulations, Zcash holders. And still, XRP, Solana, Tron, BNB, Monero, still doing good. Now, as of today, it's not bad. And you saw what I did here, right? I mean, I went on the very lowest point on November 7th, 2022, which is the low for Bitcoin, the best entry point you want to get into, right? And as of today, even though alts are sucking, here's where you're at. December 31st, Bitcoin's up 96%. BNB is up 111%. Tron, 142. Monero, 142. XRP, 162. Sol, 163. And Zcash, 1346. And this is why I'm always harping. And no one wants to hear it. I swear to God, I'm sorry, but it is the truth. I say there's the altcoins that are the best. And those best are Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. Those are the ones that the rails are being built on for stable coins. Those are the ones that the rails are being built on by Wall Street. Those are the ones that the institutions. And I still say those will do pretty well. It's just that they've been sucking so far. So to answer that question, it's a very long-winded answer. Still buying those. And if you don't even want to deal with, like, well, I don't want to get Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. There's this thing that me and Kraken, the exchange, well, they did all the work, I'll be honest. I didn't do anything. And they just bundled this thing together. It's called a bundle, called the best bundle. And you get Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, and it rebalances it every like 3 months. You can go to Kraken, just type in best bundle, and you'll see it. So yeah, that's it. But a good question. Beast asked tomorrow's giveaway. It's a surprise, but the last day is really good. The last day is the last day giveaway is going to put me out of business. That's what it's going to be. But it's worth it. But for tomorrow, I got my friend Maurizio coming in, and we're going to do a giveaway. So I'll let you guys all know what that is. But that's I just want to say again, thank you to everybody who came in and donated all their resources and time just to allow me to give this to you guys. I know I can't make everybody a winner, but at least we got some pretty great deals. And yeah, so see how this works out for tomorrow. Let's see. Take says, Rob, do you own any Midnight? No, but our stake pool is supporting it. I don't have any Midnight myself. I didn't participate in the airdrop. I just didn't want to deal with it. I'm supposed to meet up with Big Pay or Peyton here on the island, and we're going to talk about Midnight this Sunday. So probably get into it at that point. But Midnight looks pretty good. As far as like, if you want some real secrecy and not hiding transactions, but masking them, I think Midnight is a pretty good program. And hopefully it works out pretty well. Yeah, leisure real estate. RIP Waymo, Uber, Lyft, and Zoo Teslas. It's looking pretty good. Waymo is not looking too great at all as far as an autonomous rideshare service. Anyone still buying ADA? Hope so. So what are you buying now? I just told you. The best, Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, and Bitcoin. but I'm still, my portfolio is still 80% Bitcoin. What happened to Flappy Bird? That's a great question. And I wish I could tell you. But unfortunately, I signed a non-disclosure agreement and did not promote that. That's all I can really say. We were going to do some things with it, but just wasn't for me. And I humbly stepped aside, signed a document, and that's it. Best of luck to those guys. Doing things. Whistle tone. Do you actually use STONEBOOK? Yes. Do you actually use STONEBOOK for seed phrases? Yes, I do. So the STONEBOOK is just it's just a very simple notebook, but it's water resistant, tear resistant, very durable, and the ink won't fade. And I have of those. So now I've got multiple ones. I just can't tell you. Yeah, the Be Best. The Be Best. Happy birthday, Rose. It's not my birthday, but thank you. New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's. I can sue the crap out of this company that is haters coming against me. Yeah, let's do that. Keep us honest. You don't trust Justin Sun? That guy's the most likable guy in crypto. No Hype says, don't make the Zcash mistake twice and sleep on Bitcoin Cash, Rob. No Hype, I hope that works out for you. And you know what? Who cares what I think? As long as you believe in it, that's what counts. Last day giveaway is 1 million submitted coin. No, I'm just going to leave it to you like this. We got to get out of here. Is the last day is, it's my own product. It's free. It's gonna free up a lot of your time. And it was made with Google. I can't say anymore. It's just going to be really good for you. It's going to save you time. It's going to make you more informed, and you're not going to need a lot of things. And when we talk about do your own research, like I wanted to make sure you had this ability to do it. I've already rolled this out to people who are in like my little inner circle. I love it so far. So yeah, that'll be the last day. But tomorrow will be me and Maurizio. I'll show you what it is. I mean, they're all been good stuff so far, but that's it for today. So everybody, enjoy New Year's Day. If you're off of work, congratulations. This is how it's supposed to feel. But that's it for today. Thanks much, everybody. See you in the next one. Adios.